Good morning. I'm going to start with a question to all of you. Raise your hand if you know anyone who has experienced heart disease or hypertension. Keep your hands up. Raise your hand or your other hand if you know someone who's experienced or battling cancer. Look around. Look at the hands up. You can put your hands down. What that means is biohealth impacts everyone, right? It impacts absolutely everyone. So what I want to talk about today is how the biohealth industry is a disruptor, it's a game changer, it impacts everything that we do. Give you a little bit of context on the industry itself, talk about the Wisconsin Biohealth Tech Hub and why that is a catalyst for change in Wisconsin, and then give you 3 market disruptors that I encourage you all to watch. So first of all, the biohealth industry, it's an economic engine for Wisconsin, and it's a really multifaceted industry. You can see on the left-hand side of the slide, there are 6 different components of the biohealth economy. And I want to share with you a number of the companies that are in this space in Wisconsin. So first of all, biomedical research and testing. Wisconsin companies like Eurofins Microbio, LabCorp, Exact Sciences, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Protein Foundry, Spalding Clinical. I hope you recognize at least 2 of those. Digital health, huge market. Wisconsin companies like Artemax, Skygen, Moxie Health, Enzo Data, and of course, Epic. Drugs and pharmaceuticals, remember these are all Wisconsin companies, like Promentis, Pfizer, MilliporeSigma, Rose Biosciences, that's a startup, North Star, Shine, Eli Lilly, Promega, and Siegfried, which is just new into Wisconsin. Medical devices and equipment like Accuray, GE Healthcare, Medtronic, and then of course biohealth-related distribution, Direct Supply, Cardinal Health, and McKesson. Those are examples. We have many, many more. And you can see the sector impact of over 210,000 jobs and 3,300 companies in the state. Now this includes healthcare services. So sometimes we include healthcare services in the biohealth industry, sometimes we don't. This data set includes healthcare services. You can see it's more than half of the numbers that we're talking about, right? And we can all name healthcare services. The other parts of the impact I want to point out here, the impact of biohealth in Wisconsin, $11.7 billion in wages and benefits in 1 year, $37.7 billion in economic activity. That's about a $22 billion direct economic impact. The rest of it is economic activity. But the job growth it's continuing to grow, but it's outpacing our national growth. So job growth nationally is about 19% right now in the biohealth industry, 25% over the past 10 years in Wisconsin. And what we're projecting right now for the next 10 years is a 21% growth rate. And that's actually in the M7 region alone, not even across Wisconsin. And that's compared to a 10% growth rate in the nation. Biohealth is a really well-paid field. $104,000 is the average wage. That's compared to about half of that for the overall private sector in Wisconsin. And then, this industry, it's really it's innovation-led, it's highly productive. I want to point out the $270,000 value added per worker. Good stuff. So if you want to invest, biohealth is your space. But there's more. Let's talk about what's happening. Who's heard of the Economic Development Administration Tech Hub designation? Okay, not actually that many. Interesting. So let me give you some background. In 2019, when Brookings Institute published a pivotal report that said, quote unquote, a massive federal effort is needed to transform a short list of heartland metro areas into self-sustaining growth centers that will benefit entire regions. So the Brookings Institute, in their report, they identified 35 metro regions. Number 1 on their list was Madison, and number 17 on their list was Milwaukee. And they were looking for regions that could emerge as national leaders to produce tech, to produce a number of, and actually you can see on the right-hand side of this slide, these are the 8 different areas that they're focused on. And they were fundamental to encourage the U.S., not encourage, this was what the federal government decided on, for the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration Regional Tech Hub Initiative, and that received federal appropriation from the CHIPS and Science Act to identify and invest in regions that could, one, scale up productions of critical technologies, and I'm going back to what Michael said earlier, tech is space that we need to pay attention to create jobs in innovative industries, to strengthen U.S. economic competitiveness and national security, and to accelerate growth of future industries. That was the purpose of the Tech Hub designation. So in Wisconsin, we had been watching, a number of us have been watching this for a while. And I actually want to give a shout out to Table 14 right over here. This is our Medical College of Wisconsin team who really made so much of this happen for Wisconsin. We pulled together a consortium of 18 organizations, and I'll share those logos with you in a moment, but they were really cross-sector. And we said, where do we have strength in Wisconsin? Where can we really pull ahead and say, we are ready to go? And take a look at, it's the fourth one down, Advancing Biotechnology, Precision, and Prediction. We decided that was going to be the space that we leaned into. And it's because we had strengths. It's because we have the ability to invent and commercialize research in Wisconsin. You've heard it a couple of times this morning already. We have massive research universities between UW-Madison and the Medical College of Wisconsin, MSOE, Marquette, UWM. We have this ability to drive inventions. And those are in the form of startups. They're in the form of, basic science to translational science. And over $1 billion is invested annually by UW-Madison and Medical College of Wisconsin alone. The majority in research and development. And the majority of those dollars are coming from federal grant dollars to begin with. But we have this massive capacity in this state to invent and commercialize. So that's one benefit. The second is we can build here. We have an incredible manufacturing base. So we can, we looked at the companies like Plexus and GE Healthcare and Shine and Accuray who are building, and Rockwell Automation who are building right here. We can take that invention, we can build it, but we can also deploy it from Wisconsin. We can conduct clinical trials, we can develop a mobile model, and we can supply the data to accelerate innovation. And we have one more asset that I'm not sure if you're aware of. It's called BioForward Wisconsin. BioForward Wisconsin is a consortium of all biohealth industry, and they have for decades been building a collaboration, and that's just an absolute asset. So for all of those reasons, we were able to demonstrate strength in this biotechnology space. And we collectively decided to focus on personalized medicine for a grant application. Personalized medicine, in a nutshell, it's a treatment tailored to the individual. It is based on the DNA, biomarkers, environment, and lifestyle. So we put forward an application. And actually, let me speak to the US map here. So there were 35 regions identified by the Brookings Institute as potentials for growth in the heartland, as I say. There were 191 applications to become designated as a tech hub. The US EDA designated 31 communities as tech hubs. Milwaukee-Madison, the corridor between Milwaukee and Madison, our two communities, was considered one of those 31. We received a designation. Then those 31 who were designated had an opportunity to apply for funding. So when I speak about the application that we made, that was for a bolus of funding. And we were one of 12 that were designated, or one of 12 that received the funding. And actually, let me go. Can I go back here? Yeah. Just recently, you can see those with circles were designated. Those with stars received funding, and those with, it looks like a hexagon around it, just received another round of funding, and I'll talk about what that is. So, I mentioned earlier that a consortium of 18 different organizations came together. The left-hand side of this slide, you can see those logos. These are very unlikely partners in many ways. Madison College and Rockwell Automation and M7 and Plexus. I mean, these are not companies that usually come together. We came together because we knew that we had to demonstrate collaboration. We had to demonstrate strength and collaboration, and that's exactly what we did. And it took us about 18 months, I'd say, to build partnerships. Frankly, it was one of the most exhilarating but also really difficult times because we had to get to know each other in ways that weren't familiar, right? Universities and companies and economic developers in the same room. The ideas that we started with were certainly not where we ended up, but I think we ended in a really good place, actually. But the leading reason for us receiving funding is, they said, because we were collaborative, because we looked past competition, and Michael, I know you said earlier, focus on, like, competition is healthy, right? And it is healthy, but it also, looking for that collaboration was a sweet spot for us. We received $49 million from the EDA, from the Economic Development Administration. We also received $7.5 million from the state of Wisconsin as matching funds, and $24.4 million in-kind support from the consortium members and from other industry who were involved, who were partnering with us. So what did we propose? And why is this a catalyst? The Wisconsin Biohealth Tech Hub, and by the way, that was created that is the consortium and we named it such. We said we have 10-year goals, and our 10-year goals are to increase the overall economic activity in Wisconsin by $9 billion in new economic activity, and to build 30,000 new direct jobs on top of what I already showed you. The EDA required that we propose to them a number of projects that we could accomplish and we could demonstrate our strengths. We could demonstrate the power that we have already in this state. So I'm going to walk you through these 5 projects and then give you some predictions. First of all, we said data is the currency of our lives today, right? And what we noticed is that in biohealth, so many inventors, so many scientists who are doing research, you need access to data. And you need access in biohealth, you need access to patient data. And right now in Wisconsin, people need to go to health systems to find patient data, right? They have to develop a partnership with a health system or a clinic or a medical college of Wisconsin or UW-Madison to gain what's called de-identified patient data. But imagine you have to go to Advocate Aurora and to Marshfield, and you have to go to all these different sources. So the Wisconsin Health Database, Data Hub is what it's called, is intended to bring all that health data together into a single place so that scientists and inventors, you can accelerate their time to market, right? They can get access to a major bolus of data without having to go to a number of different places, and this is meant to scale. That's Project 1, and that's led by UW-Madison. Project 2 is CareScan Mobile Cancer Screening. That's led by the Medical College of Wisconsin. And this is intended to be a mobile health unit that can scale nationally. Now, all of you have heard of the mammography vans that go out. This is building upon that infrastructure, but it's expanding it to enable telehealth and to bring a full-service mobile unit into communities, largely under-resourced communities, but also to employer health, to support employer health and other places where you need somebody who's coming to you. We believe that this model can scale nationally, it can scale globally, and it will completely disrupt healthcare. We need to stop thinking about healthcare as bricks and mortar. That's led by MCW. Then the image-guided personal therapy, that is a pathway for a new treatment called theranostics, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. That's led by GE Healthcare, and that also is intended to scale and to support systems across the globe. And then finally, 2 other projects that are fundamental to this work. One is jobs. One is the Wisconsin Workforce Development pathway, and we are building jobs. That's Madison College, Milwaukee Area Technical College, largely building jobs that we can infuse into the marketplace. And both Jeremy and Michael said jobs are so critical, right? We've got to lean on our universities. We've got to lean on our employers to provide initiatives where individuals can get experience. We need employer-sponsored opportunities to build jobs, and that's where those 30,000 jobs we're going to be pushing forward. And then advancing innovation to commercialization. The state of Wisconsin has a wonderful anchor in Wharf in Madison. This region needs to grow our entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have to invest in our entrepreneurs. We have to find ways to support them and to help them fly, and that is intended to do that for the state of Wisconsin. All right, I'm going to move to a few predictions. So we've talked, the whole purpose of today is about disruption, right? And there are three areas, three market opportunities, I would say, that I want you to pay attention to. So first of all, theranostics. It's a combination of therapy and diagnostics. It's a more recent innovation, combines radiotherapy and diagnostics into a seamless step for patients with cancer and other diseases. Many things are coming up. Uses AI to make medical imaging faster and better as well. Currently, Andrew, right? 53 clinical trials underway in theranostics. There's a 10% growth rate around those clinical trials. We're going to continue to see theranostics as the emerging opportunity to treat cancer. $2.3 billion industry today, and a 15.5% CAGR. We're expecting $4.3 billion in 2020 by 2028, but we also project that this is going to triple in the next 7 years or so. It is growing lightning fast. I want to mention a couple of the companies that are in Wisconsin that are really driving theranostics. We have a number of them. Northstar, Shine, GE Healthcare, Freighter, the Medical College of Wisconsin. We are driving the most clinical treatments right now in theranostics, and then UW-Madison has a massive research focus in theranostics. But the industry opportunities, I put these on the slide because I want all of you to see where we think the growth is going to occur. So radiopharma, diagnostic imaging, software and services, in vitro diagnostics, analytics, digital health, health communication, construction, because we don't need to deliver this in a hospital. You actually are better off delivering this off-site. And of course, startups. So that's a big one to watch. Next, multi-cancer early detection tests. A type of liquid biopsy, it requires a single blood draw. Earlier I said, we have breakthroughs coming. This can detect more than 70 cancers in one blood draw. Imagine how that completely changes. How that completely changes cancer screening, right? It can detect, so just examples of what it can detect today. I'm sure you can think of your own examples, but pancreatic, prostate, kidney, lung, breast, skin, ovarian, and liver cancers. The benefits are, obviously, it's more accessible with a single blood draw. It's also the early detection and the early diagnosis enables timely treatment. You know what else that does? It brings down costs of advanced stage treatments, right? So it improves outcomes and brings down costs. It's an $800 million industry today, but expected to grow to about $3.2 billion in 2030. And then finally, gene therapy like CRISPR. Has anyone heard of CRISPR? Okay, like it, good. So CRISPR is a gene editing technology, and it can correct gene errors. It can also make a mosquito that's malaria resistant. Or it can inactivate gene expression, such as sickle cell anemia. And advancements in CRISPR are, some of them are controversial. It's definitely getting safer, and it's getting faster as well. It is a $3.3 billion industry today, and growing, expected to grow by 2033 to $24.6 billion. These are global numbers. Wisconsin leaders, Aldevron, Thermo Fisher, and then research is being conducted at Medical College of Wisconsin and UW-Madison. And then the industry opportunities, you can see that list there as well. I want to mention, I included something in here about health communication. To me, this is so critical as a focus that we not only think about the biohealth components of industry development, we think about construction, right? We think about the startups that we need to support. We think about how we're communicating with people. Because as you bring new disruptive treatments to market, how we address individuals and how we tell the story about why this is good for you is really critical. So I think that's actually a really, really nice growing field. All right, so those are predictions that those three are going to be major disruptors. I said the other prediction is that the momentum that we have built around biohealth in the state of Wisconsin, largely due recently to the EDA grant and the national attention that we've been getting, we're going to be attracting, I think, 2 to 3 more Eli Lillys or Microsofts to the region. We've got M7 and WEDC really invested in what corporate attraction looks like over the next couple of years. I'm really excited about it, so definitely keep on the lookout. Thank you.